Okay, I want to say hello again everybody, it's only me, Wushu Richard. Okay, I'm really happy you can join me again. It's been such a long time, okay, since I've made a video for my channel. Okay, this is Wushu Richard Yard. Thank you everybody for joining. Okay, in this video we're talking about martial arts, of course. Okay, you know, I've been very busy recently in my life with lots of things, you know, work and everything, so I've been so busy I haven't been able to make any videos, okay, about martial arts. But this is a very important video, okay, for me. And excuse me, I've just been eating. In this video I'm going to be blunt, I'm going to be frank, I'm going to be plain, straight to the point, as I always am, alright? And it's not meant to offend anybody, so remember, okay, it's like anything in life, you know, all this shit people talk about. I speak my words, okay, freely, so excuse me. All this shit people talk about every day about, oh, so and so was being offensive, or this person was speaking that offending, using offensive language, or offending you. Remember, that's all BS. It's not that people offend you, it's that you are offended by people, and that's because of your mental psychology, because of your brain problem, because people can't fucking sort themselves out and be more, you know, what do you call it, you know, you should learn to not care what people think and what people say. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Inner peace is what we strive for, right, realistically. But anyway, enough of the bullshit. I'm sitting here, I've got the fan blowing on me, I'm sweating, I'm sitting here in the tropics, it's night time, but I'm making this video for you here, okay, and we're talking about martial arts, and I want to say, because it's so, you know, it's my life, so I'm happy to share it all I can. This video, before we begin, okay, I'm not trying to be offensive, okay, don't take this as an offence, but I've got to be realistic about it, right, and this is absolutely real. But people can only be realistic from their own point of view, so I bear this in mind too, don't forget, okay? Now, recently my martial arts brother and friend, you know, Demsley, the man, hi Demsley, has shared with me a video online. There were some people in the video talking about, you know, street fighting and martial arts, and what's better, as in, you know, in real life, basically, you know, in a real fight, what kind, and other videos such as like what kind of martial art would be the best in a street fight. If you were in trouble on the street, if someone wanted to pick a fight with you and you were in trouble, you know, what kind of you know, style would be the best. Well, I'm going to be blunt and frank, okay? I'm not even going to bother to like go out there and pick videos like that, because a lot of these people just look like, excuse my language, you know, overweight, you know, or unhealthy looking, or people that are just big beefy bags of meat, you know, into MMA and all this shit these days anyway. So I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, right? But what I'm going to say is, you know, if you ask me the question for the billionth time in my life about, you know, it's not mathematically correct, but I'm just trying to say that, what's the best martial art for a street fight? Well, I'll tell you clearly right now, none, or next to none, of the shit that's out there today. As I said, none of the shit what's out there today, or next to none, exactly, right? That's what I'll say to you. Because people today, in this day and age, 2015, you know what I mean, if you're talking about and you say martial arts, no mate, you might as well go back to bed, because people don't fucking understand what martial art. This is not Richard talking to you on an ego, Richard. This is the voice of the fucking ancient bloody shinobi fucking warriors of whatever, of the ancient past talking here, right? Real martial arts is not what you see Mr. fucking Hamburger on your TV, on your fucking MMA, jiu-jitsu around the block and all this. I'm not putting people down, okay? But let's be serious. You know, if you want to talk about the closest thing to, you know, closest thing I'm talking about to at least to the point of realism, what I'm talking about here, it's like the way Manny Pacquiao or I'm not talking about winners or losers, I'm just going to say Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather would think when they're delivering a punch like that, and the speed of it and actually slipping and not avoiding getting hit. I'm not talking about those moves. I'm saying that real martial arts was real, okay, back in the day, and it's a deeper knowledge than the puke they're talking about. The amount of politics in martial arts today is like watering down to a piss anyway. All people know is MMA, right? That's all it is nowadays. You know, ground fighting, big beefy fucking people are grappling with each other on the ground. You ain't got a clue, right? I'm not being funny, right? But it's just you cannot talk about, you know, what you're saying. What the question should be is what martial art out there today, if any, let's put it differently. What fighting system out there today, from the stores around your block, you know, across the street from a Burger King near you, is it would be good, you know, in a random street event where someone was trying to viciously give you a random strike and you had to react to that, you know, or someone's trying to attack you. You can't talk about real martial arts unless you really are on that path. So you might say, who the fuck am I, okay? Now, I believe there are people out there who have studied lineage. There are people out there, I'm not saying who's teachers. I'm saying there are people out there who have stuck more traditionally to the true path. But there's people out there today, but I'm telling you now, who don't have a fucking clue what martial arts is. Let's go back around 10 to 20 years, right? Let's go back to the 90s or the 80s, right? In the recent, you know what it was, or what, like when the Matrix was coming out and things like that, movies and stuff. That's all it's been. You find that same language all the time. All people come out with is all this same old shit. As in, you know, things like, it looks good on film, yeah, you see people doing showy, flashy movements, but in real life people don't fight like that. Now, I've seen loads of real good martial artistry and skills, or like acrobatic skills on film too, in the recent years. Not a lot of it, but you know, but which is also the same, where it also is absolutely a fucking joke. Let me tell you a real good film, right? A real epic film. You know, The Raid 2, okay? Now, I've seen some fight scenes in that, which are absolutely beautifully choreographed, and I am a massive fan. Now, it's like martial arts films that's really like inspired me in a lot of my martial arts training anyway. But it's all a load of old BS though. I'm not being funny. I mean, that film, the fight scenes are hard hitting. They're beautifully choreographed. It's entertainment for a film, but we're not on that realistic level. Yeah, we're not on that realistic level. What I'm saying is true martial arts, right? The application of the physical body, the fluidity and all of that, that's watered out now. In modern day, if you talk about real fighting, people were just fucking MMA, and if you were standing up against the ancient, you know, back in the ancient days, you would just be picked off like nothing. All you are is a bag of meat. You know, that's all it is basically, right? So when I see people talking, I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to put people down, right? There's some good styles out there. There's things like, you know, System, Krav Maga, that are brutal styles, which are like free flowing there, like there's no rules, all that is hard hitting. I'll probably get my ass kicked if I was stood up against one of them, all the MMA and all that. But I'm saying you have got no clue. I'm talking about, you can't touch it. You can't touch this. Yeah, it's untouchable. If you try to, you know, you cannot imagine, you know, what it was. And you ask me, can I? Well, as long as you're outside of the box, you keep your mind outside of the box, you have got more chance, yeah. If you keep sticking, if you've got your mind just literally, you know, grabbing someone by the waist, you know, grappling them down the ground, on the ground, struggling, covered in sweat and blood, thinking it's okay for ego and all that, legs round people's necks for the pride of it, you know, trying to restrain them down, and you're in a cage with people cheering around. Believe you and me, okay, in a riot situation as well on the street. No, that's not what it's about, okay? All I'll say by finishing this off, right, is true martial arts, right, first and foremost, avoid negativity by being positive and not having any ego in you. Can you do that? Without, I'm not saying you're a monk or whatever, but can you do that? Right? If you can't do that, if you look at people and you are in some form of, you want to compare with people every day, compare with others in some way, or you have some worries, concerns about others, if you've got that, then you're fucked, okay? So that's one thing, okay? You want to avoid negativity, true martial arts, right? And in the ancient days, the tradition, the ancient true martial arts, it's about that in mind, spirit and body too. The way they trained the body was fluid, you know what I mean? You cannot imagine, right, the way they'd move. And they were little, thin people, they weren't like big and fucking like some of these MMA guys, no offence to people that are like naturally big built. I mean, there's people like that back in the day too. But it was the people that were slimmer, the people that the training was totally different. Fluidity, strength, inner strength from the root within, all the core into the tendons, the way they trained, they looked like they were little thin people. But believe you and me, the way they were trained, their power, the hard, the soft, the skill, the pinpoint accuracy, you got no idea. It's not pissing around, parkour, where you got free running one thing, MMA the next thing, and you just going around talking about you do Muay Thai and all this. It weren't about that. Or then next minute you go and grappling people on the ground, MMA, that's all people know today. MMA, you're talking out of your arsehole. I'm no offence to you in that. I'm saying people that have this attitude, I'm saying the actual thing of what this is. All it is a few fighting. Martial arts, you've got to understand it. Martial arts, right, is like, traditional true martial arts is like the best fucking, excuse my language, the best combat out there. It's like the deepest, like the masterful fucking way of combat and fighting, right? But true martial arts, right, in the day was a self-mastery, so that you never get hurt. It was like being on the path of being invincible, super healthy, always out of trouble, and you can control life as though it's like magic almost, effortless, because you were pushing yourself through boundaries, through not just through discipline. I mean, you can have discipline in your mind, you can have focus now in your mind and do anything in life, but you might not get the best outcome from doing one thing. You know what I'm trying to say? You can put a lot of hard work in to something, but it's a different kinds of knowledge. That knowledge, believe you and me, right? You've got no effing idea. If you want to compare, martial arts to this stuff they're doing today, you've got to be absolutely fucking joking. Martial arts is actually the wrong terminology for the whole thing. Even if you practice in English martial art, if you practice fighting art, you're just wasting your fucking life. That's what it is. You're wasting your life, right? So I'm not talking as a pussy here or someone who doesn't understand what I'm saying. I understand what I'm saying, and in your mind, or people, not you, but I'm saying people out there who do MMA, all you know is the glory, the passion, the ego, and how big and tough you are, and how the world changes then, and how you can wrap your legs around someone on the ground when you're laying on your back, with your arsehole open to whatever. I'm trying to say, when they're saying that's normality. In real martial arts, there's no playing with the yin and yang, okay? Yin and yang, yin yang. There's no fucking around with nature. If you go against nature, you will be beaten, and you will be a show up in the dojo, and you will on the martial arts school, and fucking to the forests beyond. So the wars have ears. That knowledge will travel to the villages. I tell you, man. You know what? You're as good as dead. The person who goes out there shouting his mouth off, showing his weaknesses, going around there, bulking himself, going out there and making himself so big and noisy and seen as an oath, what you're going to end up with, right? You're just a walking target. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no clue. It's not all external, it's not all the show, it's what's inside, okay? So there's a bit of basic knowledge for you. Trees again, they grow high. They would never be able to grow so high if they didn't have that strong root growing up from inside, from the bottom, and growing outwardly from the inside, right? But these people, they just mush on the inside, and it's just round like that, it's growing out, and it's not going anywhere. All you see is as they get older, they just topple. I see people in the MMA ring, I'm not trying to be funny, I see people, right, with busted up faces. I'm talking about champions, epic, big tough fighters. Am I going to stand up to these guys? No. But you see these people with busted up faces, blood all over them, they're covered in sweat usually, or blood, be it someone else of their own, standing there, they're doing all of this for the glory, for the money, for the fame, for the crowd out there. And back in the day, in the ancient days, fair enough, people got different desires, but I'm saying, back in the ancient days, people weren't doing it for that. You know what I'm trying to say? That's why you see, you go back into the, you know what I'm saying, ancient martial arts, you ask people, like in China or Japan, ancient martial art, they will say, I train for my health, to keep healthy. That's what they'll say. But if these MMA people try to put their hands on them, they get fucked up. That's what happens, and they will lose because they just can't move. Like, you can't catch the monkey. You know what I'm saying? Well, Wilshire Richard telling you. A cup of tea later on as well. And that's it. Next time you try to catch a monkey, get one of these MMA people, okay? Try to catch a monkey, or a chicken, or a little animal or something. Can you catch it easily? No. Why? That's it, right? So, it's all around you in nature. MMA is not a natural thing. Hate's not a natural thing either. Fighting is not a natural thing either. But I'm just answering this point, okay, here, because a lot of people are using MMA as like the main example. And there's good and bad in everything, but I'm going to be real about it, okay? There's a lot of bullshit out there, and that's what I'm going to say. So basically, when you're talking about what's the best martial art, like for street fighting, first of all, fighting's the fucking point. Get fighting out of your mind. But you've got to learn to train to fight and have that in your mind for self-defense, I'm saying, and do it. But it's like, that's the basic thing. Like, so martial art, they're saying, what's the best kind of martial art for a street fight now? Well, it's not what these motherfuckers, excuse my language, it's not that shit what's out there today in the world. That's what I'm trying to say, it's none of that. You've got to go back to the root. It's going to be very, very hard for you to find something close to a teacher, or something like, of anything close to what I'm talking about. You know, it's like, for example, like, you know, there's, you know, Tai Chi, right? Tai Chi schools, not schools, Tai Chi people training Tai Chi all across China. Yeah? There's Wing Chun schools, Wing Chun schools, right? Around. There's a lot, even in America, England, I'm sure everywhere around the world. But a lot of them are shit, I'm saying. And the reason they're shit, and the reason they get knocked the fuck out by MMA people and boxers and stuff, is because they're not training traditional. They're just trying to put the name out, and all they're doing is boxing, and this and that, and they've got JKD in there trying to make out all this other stuff, and Bruce Lee, whatever, and that's all it is, you know. And people go, what's the hardest style, you know, oh man, Kyokushin Karate, or no, it's a Muay Thai, you know, what's well known, and things like this. And it's just not getting the point. You're not getting the point. There's people out there doing ninjutsu and all this ninjutsu stuff. I'm not trying to put down every style. I stand up for all the martial arts, even the ones I hate. You know, like jiu-jitsu and things like that, and MMA. MMA is just pure shit. But I'm just trying to say that. Or forms of wrestling, which I'm not interested in. But you know what I'm trying to say? There's more spirit in fucking sumo wrestling, and that to me is like kind of BS in a way, you know, but it's like that is more spirit in that. There's more fucking spirit in, you know, this is really going cheesy now, but there's more spirit in fucking World Wrestling, was it WWE or Wrestling Federation, compared to MMA shit. Excuse my language, right? A lot of it's fake, right? But I'm just saying, the traditional, sorry, not traditional, I'm beyond traditional now. I don't even talk about tradition anymore, because there is no tradition, it's not even on the traditional level anymore. I'm not talking about lineage or country or whatever. I'm saying that true martial art knowledge is something that you will never fucking understand if you're living in today's society. You know what I mean? You're living in a dream world. You've got no fucking idea. Okay? So that's what I'll say to you now. Before Taekwondo was a sport, you know what I mean? It was what Aikido's a good art, Aikido's great, Hapkido's great, they all come from a different, derived from different styles, Kempo, things like that. But going back to that Wing Chun again, so the Wing Chun, yeah, things like this, how many good, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, they're not sticking true to the true martial art. They just say, my teacher was so-and-so's teacher, blah, 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 Bruce Lee's teacher, or whatever the fuck, in Hong Kong, yeah, Hong Kong, whatever the fuck, and blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking understand. You see these young people, and they're Chinese, sometimes some, you know, let's say, you know, strong-looking young guys, and they talk about it, and they feel good and they feel proud, but I feel sad because they will even start talking about things like MMA and stuff, and they'll tell you clearly in English, and they will speak to you, and they've got their hair sticking up and all the rest of it, and whatever the fuck style, and they got, you know, shirt on and this, and their fucking tattoo, whatever the fuck. No offence, I'm just saying, right? Sorry, I'm saying, excuse me, I'll put that a different way, okay, I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, there's people, you know, going around, and they don't even really, they're not even anywhere close to the lineage, to the true culture where it come from, the, you know what I mean, the real essence of the thing. They just are proud to be of, most martial artists are just proud to be, I mean now, are proud to show how tough they are, and they, well, sorry, it's my phone. I'm saying most martial artists today, like the young youths and stuff, is what I'm saying is their mind is like, their attitude is like, they just feel so proud to, their ego to show how tough they are, first of all, how strong fighters and how good their fighting style is. Again, I'll show you how I can fucking, show you my muscles now to knock someone out. And it's the old fucking, that's like the Western attitude, you know what I mean? And also, they feel it's an extra bonus. They feel it's an extra bonus if they can say, yeah, there's some kind of lineage in this thing where people were well known as well-known fighters. For example, someone will be very proud to be, you know, to have their teacher been taught by someone like, you know, Yip Man or whatever, you know, Bruce Lee's teacher, Ye Wen, for example, yeah, things like that, or someone like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, whatever the fuck, you know, great Jiu-Jitsu family, they'll be proud of that because they've been known as like strong fighters. But this stuff, and I'm being honest and truthful, right? Bruce Lee was good, I know. I'm saying Bruce Lee and all these people, right? Bruce Lee, any of these guys, I'm saying, even people that are absolute legends like Hatsumi Masaki, sensei of the ninjutsu, which I'm an absolute fan of. I think he's great, okay? But I don't care who you're talking about. Even Van Damme, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, bloody Jackie Chan, Steven Seagal, Larry Tatum of Kempo, who I'm an absolute fan of. All these people, okay? Again, you got O Sensei of Aikido who died. He was fantastic. Fair enough. He was good. He was excellent. But I'm saying all of these legends, I'm not trying to wipe them all out and say they're nothing, including Bruce Lee, okay? Well, and then you talk about Brandon Lee as well. They're all great. I'm not trying to put them down. I'm saying they were just the kids. They were just offspring as such, or I'm not talking about only from family, like blood. I'm saying offspring across the world, like that were either students or whatever, or this or that. They were the young youths who just learned, and they put themselves through hell, and they trained really, really hard, and they were great compared to the shit what's out there today. But I'm saying, if you went back a few more 100 years, 1,000 years, or hundreds and hundreds of years, then you would be talking about something different. You won't be talking about hamburgers and pizzas. You'll be talking about real fucking martial art. You don't talk about MMA, you don't talk about now and say what martial art, because people don't know what martial art is now. It's just they're on planet fucking Mars, okay? This is Wushu Richard being real, okay? But if you say, you know, because you must understand the whole philosophy, you've got to be humble in yourself, you've got to understand yin and yang, as I say yin yang, right? You've got to understand all that, understand all of that. Can you? You know, can you? Yeah, it's just a fucking, it's like, this is my language, it's like Taoism, you know what I mean? Taoism and that. You know what I mean? It's like a religion, it's like your life, and you got to put it, it's not just a belief, it's like an absolute connection with nature. And you've got to be able to train on the body in a way you can't imagine. It's not just going in the room and fair text and all this and fucking hitting tough bags and grappling them on the floor and all this and then start going in gyms and pumping yourself up. I'm not talking about that. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger had discipline and that, he was great what he was doing, and people like The Rock and that, but this is totally different, alright? You're going to get a clue. So I'm trying to say, right, as traditional martial arts, you've got no idea, and you probably can't even imagine the kind of training. The kind of training, if you want to get, I've got no fucking, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin explaining. I can give you examples of basic ideas like from my mind and share like bits and pieces. Yeah, maybe you say it's bullshit, but I'll share examples in other videos and we can get deeper into different kinds of scientific training for different levels of this and that. But I'm just saying, right? People these days ain't got a fucking clue. You don't put gum shields in your fucking mouth and thing on your head or nothing and just take blows and get yourself smashed up in an MMA ring, right? You don't go out. It's not about. It weren't about, you know, groin guards, all kinds of guards, pads on your hands, boxing gloves. It weren't about that. It weren't even about any of this fancy stuff. They've got nutrition supplements and all this stuff they've got these. I know there's some good stuff out there, it's real and that. But I'm just saying, it weren't about any of this stuff you're imagining today. What t-shirt you got, what gym you represent. You was literally, I don't know if you've ever seen the film. Have you seen the film, right? And I'm picking films off now, and it's all BS too, in a way. I'm saying, have you seen the film Fighter in the Wind? Fighter in the Wind of Masayama, Fighter in the Wind. About a karate, right? It's about a true legendary fighter, Kyokushin karate, right? But the guy training in the cold, in the winter, outside in the snow, and he was like trying to break the stone, he was punching on the trees, and you know, it's like, this is brutal, it's fucking brutal, real training. Standing and balancing in the middle of a lake or something on some rock with like slippery and jagged edges, or that you're just standing there trying to keep your focus when the wind's blowing and you just can't, the hailstones blowing at you. You can't imagine the kind of focus you have hours on end in some one-legged balanced position. It's like yoga. You know, it's like you got no idea until you learn that your mind and your spirit has to keep so calm and control your breathing, because any little inner vibration from in your body, I'm not talking about the stuff they're fucking legalising today, you know what I mean, in this culture, whatever you're doing. I'm just saying, you know, feeling for your body, you know, one twitch of a muscle and you will just fall, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you can't feel humbleness to that degree, if you can't feel your weakness, if you can't own up to that, if you can't learn to deal with people throwing shit at you and learn to, you know what I mean? Be able to like take it and deflect it as though it's nothing. You know, so we're not even, until you really don't give a damn what people think, until you see the beauty in life and you really honestly can feel inside that you don't care about money, you don't care about any of that, you know what I mean? Yeah? Can you do that? Can you live in this kind of a mindset in 2015 now? What clothes do you wear? What clothes do you wear? Do you look in the mirror every day at your gelled hair, your shirt? You're going out to the club, you're going out to the bar, drinking tonight, yeah? Do you do that? You know what I'm trying to say? What car? You want to buy a new car? Oh yeah, I deserve a new car, because my friend's got a new car. If you've got a mind like that, then you can never ever fucking, you know what I'm trying to say? You don't understand what I'm saying now, because you see me shouting, and you've got a lot of opinions now about what I'm saying on this camera. People in this world do not understand. They're not anywhere, they're a universe away from real martial art. That's what I'm saying, because you have to fix your problems. You can't change the world, but you can change yourself, right? But people outside, people out in this world today, you know what I'm saying? You've got a clue. So that's my answer, okay? That's my answer. So thank you, Demsley. Thank you very much, Demsley, for the video you shared about, you know, people that say, what's the best martial art for today? Martial arts is deep. I don't want to pick holes, which I've been picking a lot of holes in. I don't usually like to do this, so I'm not trying to be offensive to you. I'm just speaking about my views on certain styles and ideologies from my point of view. Be it my empty point of view. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll admit, empty-minded. I don't have any opinions or judgment, but I'll say that it's like You might call it, maybe it really is. Everything I say, I always say could be wrong. It's always got a downside. Everything's good and bad, isn't it? But until you can, stop fighting, until you can stop fighting and stop doing this or doing that and doing this and then you can never be free. So if you're never free, you are not a martial artist. You're not a martial art person. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? It's not just an artist. You can't be doing this and doing that and then you've got to free. You have to free yourself up. If you're free, you can do anything, right? And that's basically it. So there's things outside. So if you go every day to buy your coffee, was it Starbucks coffee, whatever the fuck, and you're drinking beer, I've got to have another beer tonight and all this. Nah, man. This was around in China, so back in the day, in Japan and China, people would start drinking and or smoking and all this different, when it was coming around. And you see the old master sitting there, and he's got loads and loads of students. He says, "Oh, these are my students," and he's sitting there, and he feels so proud. That's not martial arts. I don't care what a master, how expert he is. That's not martial arts. If you've got that attitude in you, if you have martial arts, if you are a teacher now, if you teach martial arts or fighting even now, and you tell people, this is the way, this is perfect, and if you take all of your emotion inside, you have negativity, you want to prove something as such, then you're doing the opposite of that. Martial arts is pure. You've got to say, love life, understand yourself. When you teach a baby to walk, you let them feel, I'm saying, how they feel their balance on their own. You know what I'm trying to say, yeah? So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. But you can only use what you are, what you've developed. So you don't talk about MMA, right, or the stuff that's out there today, and you say, what's the best martial art for a street fight today? You're probably going to get yourself fucking killed. Right? You're going to probably get yourself killed if you end up trying to do martial art. Respect to Steven Seagal again, and all the legends I've mentioned in this video, who are absolute legends in true martial arts. I'll be fair enough closer to it, at least. But I'm saying, I'm beyond you know what I mean? It's what inspired, Steven Seagal was Sensei's demonstration, old man, of his masterful Aikido. Okay, and then the same from Masaki Hatsumi, who learned his ninjutsu from wherever he learned. But I'm saying, who inspired their masters, or who, Sensei's teachers? You know what I'm trying to say? You go back and back. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, not Bruce Lee. What inspired Bruce Lee's teachers? What inspired Ye Win? Ye Win or Ye Man, whatever the fuck. So who inspired him? You know what I'm saying? Who inspired it? I'm not saying human beings are what made it. What? It's not even who, it's what. It's not who, it's what inspired the creators of some Tai Chi or Qigong systems. What inspired them is yin and yang, right? Yin yang, the understanding of the knowledge around nature, around you, in life and the universe, right? And health, from a human perspective. So in that way we can say a lot of our understanding is bullshit and our own point of view, and our own creation is what we do for ourselves, fair enough, human, isn't that? But I'm saying is our understanding from a human point of view. So life, and loving life and hating pain. That's it. Now I'm speaking very poetic here, and I think I know everything, it seems, yeah? Fair enough, I'll probably get my ass kicked in an MMA fight today on the street, but I'm just saying, in the real training, you've got no idea, compared to back in the day how they used to train. And some of these people, there's been masters that have gone unheard, unseen, and trained inside it. And I believe there are people in this world today, far and few, you can probably count them, around 10, or half of the earth. And I'm just saying, for example, there's people out there who are training more closer to this, and they don't even fucking know it. There's people out there in the world who do some yoga, let's say. I'm not saying 5-minute yoga, 5-minute Yahoo fucking it. But there's people out there who are doing that, and it's like more closer to it. There's people out there who are doing like, you know, ice skating, ballet dancing, or this stuff you see on TV, Dancing with the Stars. That are like, some of their focus is like, you know what I mean, more closer to what I'm talking about, and their physicality. But it's nowhere near it, because it's not martial arts. It's like watered down piss. That, most of the most extreme physical training you've seen today is, and mental focus too into it, no offence, it's different, it's absolutely watered down piss compared to real martial arts. And that's what I'll say to you. It's not just you throw a straight punch out, you know, when you do like Wing Chun, you do a straight punch, someone does it and someone else does it, and Bruce Lee does a 1-inch punch, or somebody else does a strong punch, or a speedball punch, and you say that's martial art. You ain't got a fucking clue. It's beyond that. There's people out there today doing Wing Chun and they're doing like boxing, or they're doing this and that, and people doing MMA, and there's stores that just like do forms on one side, then they start going back and doing real fighting, they're grappling, ground fighting and striking, and that's it. And they don't have a fucking clue. They don't have a clue at all. Right, that's it. There's nothing to say, right? It's beyond that. You've got no idea. It's like, you see like the essence of like Wing Chun, you know, Wing Chun or Tai Chi, right? The sticky hands, the pushing hands, all that, the real essence of it. People will know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean, yeah? That's so deep, right? The feeling of that, that's really deep. It's like that fine line that defines the yin and yang, or yin yang, right? And if you've got that attitude, that mindset for life as well, it's like, you know what it is? It's so deep, right? If you're a true martial arts, the heart. You've always got to talk about the mother, right? The mother gives birth to the son, right? It says, what is the spirit? What is the guiding force of that? You see what I'm trying to say? See, if you have got that absolute finite, fine level there, that had to come from somewhere, right? So what's creating that? It's love and the life and passion of it, nature, all that, yeah. But there's something, if you want to go to another level, you know what I'm saying? There's a spirit there for that, as such. You know, so there's a key to this. You know, it's like a magic. Much more than this fucking MMA they're doing today, or the stuff you see on the TV. So no offence, right? I'm just saying, MMA is MMA. Don't get it twisted. You know, MMA is MMA. It's a kind of fighting. If you want to call it martial art, you can. Okay, fighting art. You want to say that way. And it's a kind of physical exercise, kind of discipline. People can train it for just their health and fitness too. And some of these people are really in good shape. But in terms of fighting, that's all it is. It's just exerting your energy. The way I see it, there's leverage, there's control, there's a lot of tactics. But I'm just saying, right? And it works against a lot of thugs on the street in some situations. But usually, it's people who do MMA are like usually strong, tough guys, right? Or bigger looking compared to the body shape and compared to a lot of what I'm talking about. And it's different. But what I'm saying is, the people of the ancient days would fuck them up, seriously, okay? And you wouldn't even see them there. You wouldn't even know what hit you. You wouldn't even know, my God. In fact, I'll tell you what it's like, right? It's like, you know, if you were a bit more pure in your mind, and you studied society and culture today, and don't forget MMA come out of the culture what we got today. And there's been a lot of shit between this to back from where the cultures where true martial arts came from, and that many years history too. There's a lot of shit in between. There's so much things that you can't ignore it. And this is what MMA is derived from. You know, it's not exactly derived straight from then back in the day, right? It wasn't like you had one village of people training real martial arts one day, and then the next day we had MMA. It's not like that at all. It's just talking about cross cultures for hundreds and hundreds of years, and now we've got this MMA, you know, fast food joint, whatever the fuck, right? You know, respect to Freddie Lee, Freddie's Modern Kung Fu for calling it blowjos and all this shit, right? That's because it's exactly what it is, you know. You know, because that's what I'm saying, right? But I'm just trying to say, you know, from that opinion, right? So, the point of view I'm saying. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You are getting some real cheap shit with that. That's what I will say to you, okay? You just, yeah. So what I'm saying, right, in this rich culture you're coming up with, right, where they've got MMA schools around, okay, that's another thing, yeah, you see, you're going to end up being more poor, aren't you, right? You can come from the poorer cultures, like in the ancient days, people training, the true martial arts came about, you know what I mean? You know, it's like, if you went back in ancient history, if you went to like China in like the ancient days, you know, you hear people talking about like martial arts and kung fu, right? They're saying that the poor people would be the ones, you know, in the martial arts trying to make a living off it. Or later on, or like you say, no, it's the rich people, because the rich people had money, they could go to a kung fu school, yeah. But that's bullshit. It's not the rich people, because before it wasn't about that. Before everyone was doing some form of martial art. The true martial artist would say, no, I didn't have any money for it. I come from my heart, you know. It come from myself. It come from my studying the nature. It was very fucking painful, and I made myself stronger because life's hard. But I said, people nowadays that they go to the gym based on ego. What do you think's more of a drive? Ego, wanting to be the best, or wanting to kill the fear, or wanting to live your life. You know what I mean? If you were training to beat cancer or something, you know what I mean, or to save your life, or you know what I mean, or to survive, you know, that would be more, you know what I mean, yeah. People in this day and age, they feel if their face ain't on the wrapper of some condom packet, then they're advertising for something. If people don't say they're number one, then their life isn't worth living. That's what people live like now. And then it's all about the image, and it's just all bullshit. And people fail to see that MMA is just one of those things. It's people just being driven brought into this bullshit. It's the kind of brainwashed and stuff, you know. But you know, what I'm trying to say is, in the ancient days, the true martial artist, okay, wasn't knocked down easily. But today you don't even need to bring them down. Today the MMA, they just go down, lay on the ground like they want to take something up their arsehole, because they're just wrapping their legs around you and covered in sweat and blood, beating the shit out of each other. That's what they was born for as babies. I don't believe so. For the camera on TV. And also, people these days, right? You can't find really. It's hard to find a human being to teach you martial art. The nature is around there, and you try to speak to more fighters, okay? I'll give you some advice, like, speak to fighters. I wouldn't say, like, if you go to a lot of martial arts schools, or like sports clubs, right? Schools in general, or like martial art, MMA school, I'm sure you will find lots of people get together, and they are very friendly and very, because that's the situation. There's no pain as such in there. It's like they get together, they feel happy. It's the weekend, it's the evening. They're busy at work every day. They come home and they're going to go out drinking on a Saturday night, you know. And their girlfriend's watching, and their son's called whatever the fuck his name is, you know. And they go there and they go with their mates, and they feel that they're part of a team. Now, when human beings, feel like you're part of a team, when you feel like you're together and you feel like you're doing the same thing, you put the same uniform on, you do all this and that, you feel like you're on the same level, and you kind of find this magical respect, less complicated, and it comes from nowhere suddenly. It's like magic, yeah? That's what families are, that's what friends are, that's what the beauty of true martial arts is. But I'm saying these people, right, they don't realise it, they're not sweating, they're not crying and such, they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for the image a lot of the time. And even the ones that are doing it for themselves, it's like they don't realise they're not being as productive as they could be for themselves, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, people nowadays anyway, they just say, right, they're going into these schools and they're just, you know what I mean, they're just doing that. Sorry about the noise outside, it's very noisy outside. But like, true martial artists, I didn't feel they were part of anything. It's like, you know what I mean, they're trying to bring them. Also, like, Mike Tyson was more close to that, but it was like he was fueled on hate as such in some ways. He was like, he hated life, but he brought himself up, he trained so hard, you know, focused very, stronger in his training, he become the best boxer, and he wanted to survive in the ring, and but he was all about the same thing, though. He wanted to prove a point and prove that he was the best fighter, but you know what I mean? Still, if you're pushed around by society, I don't care if you wear, you know, some people like monks' robes and stuff, whatever you might be faking, but I'm saying there's people out there, if you feel that you're pushed around by society, or if you feel that you need to show the world something, then you cannot call yourself a martial artist. You cannot call yourself pure. You can't even hope to be able to call yourself the best, as in, another term would be invincible, because true martial arts is talking about invincibility. The only way is when you don't care about anything, and you are like, so calm within yourself. That's what it's about, okay? And that's very hard to train to that extent and have that kind of determination just on because you want to do it, you know. But it's not about just wanting to do that. It's the kind of training what you do, and sadly it's watered down. There's not a lot of knowledge out there in terms of true martial arts these days. But you know, if you want to get more closer to that fighting skills and such and techniques and the actual origins of those, you know, as in a physical training, then you're going to have to do a lot of research, and you're going to the closest research, the thing that's closest to knowledge in life in general is yourself. You've got to learn the balance of yourself, and you've got to learn nature around you. As I was saying anyway, so go again what I was saying, yeah, remember, you go to any like MMA school or these martial arts schools, and look carefully, don't just study people there together and just they might seem alright, but if you talk to most of those people, a lot of people, right, you will find that they all have, and fair enough, we're all human, we do have different issues and this and that, but I'm saying, if you find some of these people and talk to them, a lot of them are fighters, they're there to train to fight, and they've got their own attitude, and they will talk about fighting, and they will talk about this and that, and they will talk, and do you know what else? They have issues regarding today's modern world in society. Yeah, they're not living in a dream world that I'm fucking talking about here, are they? Even there's people out there who are like religious too, and they even talk about ancient this and that, or beliefs. But it's like a lot of people today are faking it. They still live in this modern world where, you know what I mean? They follow that on one hand, and then in their free time they do fitness training and they get themselves big and tough and they learn fighting moves. Well, you know, that's not the heart of true martial arts. So I'm talking about the heart of true martial arts. But I know we're trying to talk about like just martial arts, yeah, as in what's the best martial art for a street fight. Well, believe you and me, the stuff that was around back then in the ancient times compared to now, you've got to be joking. It's not just because I'm living in a dream. It's literally the way they train and the way they fight, because it comes from the way they train. Not just the heart behind it, but I'm trying to say the heart as in the heart, the whole thing, you know, you just got no idea. So these kids, these are McDonald's kids. Now I love McDonald's, okay? But I'm just saying, these kids are these guys you're seeing today, you cannot start, most of these top martial arts schools even, and I don't give a fuck, right? You walk into a martial arts school, the first thing you see is attitude and ego. It kind of makes me sick, because I wouldn't even want to associate myself or go to a school the way it is these days, even here in China, because all it is money, ego, and people have lost it. They've lost the whole concept. They've got the whole thing of true martial arts. All it is, oh, you want to learn something? I'll teach you how to fight. This is the way, I'll show you, because they've got pressure in their mind and they'll show you how to fight. That's not what it's about. And I don't want to be belittled by anything. I want to be the best me I can be in life, you know what I mean, yeah? So you have to find it yourself, sadly. And you have to study whatever knowledge you can out there. You have to find teachers, and you have to go through that shit sometimes too to get a little bit closer to some of these techniques. It's so watered down to a piss these days. But you can seek out, I'm sure, different schools. There will be teachers across China, I'm sure. It's a big place, you know. We're in Japan, I'm sure, things like this. But if you're talking about in the West, and you're going like MMA and all this stuff, you've got to be effing joking, excuse my language, because that, you'll either be tough enough. It's like recently, I just remember I was watching a video recently by Vampire High again. Okay. He's a great martial artist, but he was talking about like skill versus skill versus toughness, yeah. And he was talking about both have got their value, but he said toughness might be more valuable in a way. I understand the whole thing, but believe you me, the way they're going today in this day and age, they ain't got a fucking clue. They ain't got a effing clue. Okay, that's what I will say to you. The knowledge of the true martial art has been watered down to a piss. You're going to have to scrounge and dig for gold. It's like, you know, digging for gold nuggets in this day and age. It might be hard, you know, but it's like you've got to dig and dig deeper to the earth, to the centre. You've got to dig as far as you can go and not give up to find this. It's like looking for gold in the ocean. That's a good example of what it's like. Looking for gold, looking for treasure in the ocean, or looking for certain things in the ocean, rarity. That's what it's like looking for. Exactly, true martial art. The nature's all around you. It's like we're back in this realm. We're in the nature's all around you, not in the society. I'm saying the nature itself, right? Just like it was back then, like then, you know, with the true masters of, you know, of Tai Chi and that Tai Chi, the people who created it. But it was a different culture, and I'm sure culture influences a lot of people, but it's people that create cultures. But I'm saying a lot of the true thing comes from nature and understanding it. I mean, a simple belief, not based on the modern culture that's around you and what people say from their mouths and what's the gospel and, you know, and telling you, you know, and advertising this and that and McDonald's. So what I'm trying to say is, right, the nature's around us now. You could become the best fighter or the best martial artist you can imagine. You could be the one, you know, to create a style like Tai Chi, a Tai Chi style, for example, yeah? But in this day and age, you've got to be joking because people are distracted because they're living in MMA, fucking, what do you call it, handouts, whatever they're handing you out on the street, you know, plastic dildos. I'm just trying to say it to you, right? So until you get up off your back, you know, that's my answer, right? So the answer basically is simple, pure and full. Okay, what's the best martial art out there for a street fight? Okay, in this day and age, none of that shit they're teaching you, but you can compare things. Anything that's closer to traditional martial arts, stand up on your feet, anything that's got a good guard, anything that's basic fighting, I'm saying, anything that's got, you got some fitness in you. I think the best one would be to run away. That's the best one, yeah? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like, you know, keep your hands up as a guard, you know, hands up, good blocks, good cover, good strikes, good kicks, all the same shit, you know. But if you haven't got good stamina, if you haven't got good flow, you got to get the fuck out of there and run away. The best thing you can do is avoid negativity. Then you'll be at least somewhere near the actual meaning and the essence of true traditional martial arts. But the actual path that they took, the ancestors and the ancient people that trained in those days, they trained totally different to the people you see sweating it in the gyms. Oh, hi Luke, how you doing today, man? With his hair, got a tattoo, he's got fucking earrings and all this stuff. Oh yeah, hi, yeah man, all this, what up cuz, and all this motherfucking, you know, I can put it on now for you, all this stuff, you know what I mean? And all that, you know, oh yeah, what up man? Yeah, you see the tap out last night? You see the fucking tap out last night? I ain't got a fucking clue, mate. You know what I mean? These people these days, you know, laying on the floor. Yeah, I do MMA. You show me some of those jiu-jitsu. You see the actual position. The body's leaned over like that, grappling. I just can't even be bothered to talk about it. That's why I don't make many videos on martial arts anymore, because I just feel so damn fucked off with the way people carry on in this day and age. You've got no idea why you're so exhausted. Until you start studying why you're exhausted, or why you're losing more than you're winning. I don't care if you're a badass, tough fighter, I don't care how you are. But if the pressure's in your life, you've got pressure inside, you're not trying to tell you. Until you start loving life, until you stop worrying about, until you think differently to the way that society out there is brainwashing you and you just don't know it, that you're never going to be free, and that's it. Okay? It's just watered down to a piss, as I will say to you, okay? So it's humiliating, and I feel very, very sad for the times that have passed and the people that put in the effort. And anyone out there who is more closer to traditional lineage, I say true ancient martial arts, and who are, be it, I would say more so styles like, you know, karate, ninjutsu, aikido, kung fu, styles, you know, like that, tai chi and things like that, you know, do stay true to them. You know, I like it all, don't get me wrong, I respect boxing and things like that, and kickboxing and boxing, I know. You know, all the others, the taekwondo and that, they've got their own lineage, there's a different wrestling and you know, sumo, and I know it's all good, but I'm just saying, you've got to be and things like Kempo was like more like a modern thing, like you got American Kempo came out. I love Kempo, and that Larry Tatum's a legend. Because like Kempo is another one of those things that come from like essences of like Kung Fu and Karate, and Karate was like influenced by fighting styles what were practiced in China at the time, influenced the Okinawans and then Japanese, and that was you know, and that was influenced from Kung Fu. But don't forget all the stuff we've learned. I was an 80s baby, I was born in the 1982, so I don't fucking really understand what I'm talking about. Put it this way, right, the true martial arts from before, they will piss on me. They make everything I've said in this video look like shit. You gotta wipe it up with a towel. I'm speaking crap. The best, and good martial artists is probably they won't even lie to you. They just clean you up in one way or another. But if you went further down a few years later on, you might get people getting a bit more pissed up. Thanks to whatever culture, and people just and then they'll start to be a bit more kind to you, foolishly kind, and then there'll be humble martial artists, and they'll say to you, well, you know what, yeah, your MMA is good as well, because they want you to feel good about yourself, with your stuff you do, and then they will fucking clear you up. But in this day and age, you've got people overweight, people doing martial arts as a hobby, people not believing in what they do, people you know, if you train those forms and cutters, you've got to understand the forms and cutters, the positions of it, and train the internal. There's a lot of things you do when you practice yoga, right? And I haven't done yoga probably, I've done some basic qigong, but I was going to say, if you practice yoga, right, things like that, and balance and poise, and there's spirit within inside that will teach you, and it's not inside someone's mouth. You can feel the muscle in your body how it is, right? When you're balancing in positions and stuff, and you learn about it as you grow older, and you learn how to control your breathing. So when you're running and you learn how to control your breathing and things like that, there's things that you and nature just connect, and it just teaches you without coming from someone's mouth. And you know, if you get into a lot of fights and you get hit, you've got to start asking yourself questions all the time. The way you're fighting, or is it because you're just getting into fights? That's it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not inside someone's mouth, and not inside someone's famous school. BS, right? Or whatever it's designed as now, what advertisements they got on TV. No way, I don't care if it's got a hip-hop fucking, and I love my hip-hop, the rap, you know I do. I'm saying if you've got like hip-hop fucking TV adverts and all this, and people wearing their whatever clothes style is in this day and age, it's not about that. Martial art is about the man or the woman underneath, the pure who you are as a human being, and how to get in tune with nature. So that's what I'll say. Yeah, so that's real martial art. Wilshire Richard telling you the martial art. Okay, so it's not me telling you either. Nature will tell you until you die. But if you are ignorant and you don't live through your life until that time, and you don't learn, then that's it. We wish health upon you. You should wish yourself healthy, safe, and go through your life peacefully and enjoy your life. That's the essence and the meaning of martial art. But in terms of fighting styles, the stuff that's out there today requires you to be tough. That's what I would say. Yeah. So if you want to talk about the stuff that's out there today, MMA, or is it MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, grappling, fighting, even Sistema, Krav Maga, all this stuff, right? Then you better learn this and learn well and be a tough fighter and learn to be very, very tough in terms of beefy, tough body, muscle, tough guy. Big. Go to the gym. You know what I mean? That's it. Because it's not what the ancient days, they make these gym people look like fucking tissue ripped up. It's like look like nothing. Because they had a strength which was like magic. They were doing feats which blew everybody away. Big tough guys from all around the village and the town would see these people doing this stuff physically. The mental focus and the actual physical abilities they could do, and then the fighting, they wouldn't believe it because they were just such slim little people, and they couldn't believe it because they were so strong on the inside. It was invisible, and you've got no understanding to understand how they were so close to invincibility. You understand? Invincibility is not going in prison or going into a gang fight or wherever you might be in the world with scars all over your body, gunshot wounds, a black eye because you've been in the ring, fighting in the ring, and saying that you're a hero at the end of the day because you can take the pain. Even like the samurai back in the day, ancient warrior samurai, not afraid to die and things like this, you know, for a cause. It's like still part of society. Still like hired. Martial artists don't need to be hired. They were like, you know what I'm saying? They would die with honour for themselves as such. It wouldn't even be for that. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like they would live for what they want to live for, not live on your knees. You know, better to die on your feet than live on your knees. You know what I'm trying to say? But it would be like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like more than just for something. It's just because of nature. Nature should be your only guiding force as such. Human beings inspire each other, but you've got to understand why something is inspiring you. Not even that, it's why you are inspiring yourself, because of why you are feeling inspired from this thing. Why? Is it close to a good thing? You've got to study things inside out. That's what it's about. The true fighting, though, is the fighting. Again, it's all wrong. It's not good. It's, you know, from the full physical ability, like not get hit, you know, be balanced and all that. You've got to learn. You've got to study what you're really doing. If you do MMA and the other guy doesn't, then what does that make him? Worse than you? You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Right. The best thing, though, the best experience is your life, right? Experience. So if you're in a real fight, study what happened. If you win or you lose, you have to study and think about it. Not for the next fight, but study what's going on. Study the moment you're in now, because when it passes, something different's going to come from now, the next moment. See what I'm trying to say? So you have to balance yourself out all through your life, not just train for something so that you can, you know what I mean? Yeah, do this or that. So you train your whole life to climb a certain mountain or something, or the highest peak, and then one day you find out the mountains crumble down or so, you know what I mean, yeah? Or it's the ocean sea level's risen or this or that, you know what I mean? You plan out for something and then things change. You just what I'm trying to say, but you might be able to train yourself overall so that you're able to deal with all situations, more situations. You're able to swim, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that rather, you know what I mean, yeah? Training your breathing, training your stillness, you know, rather than just exerting yourself out. You exert yourself out in one way or another. So I don't know where to begin, right? But if you want to ask me what's the best fighting martial arts style for a street fight out there today in the real world, none of that shit what's out there today. That's what I'll say to you, right? It's the ancient ways. You've got to go back to that. You stand up to, right? You kind of learn the ancient ways and train that way. But I'm just trying to say, like, you know, that ain't out there today. A lot of the time, if you talk about going to a school and learning something, then basically the stuff out there today, a lot of it requires you to be a big tough guy and muscly, you know, this and that. Because they ain't doing it. But that will get, you know what I'm trying to say, that can beat a thug or someone on the street, right? If you've got good agility and you're big and stronger than the guy physically, then you'll be, and you've got some skill, then you will be better, right? You're in a fight, physical fighting situation, say. But I'm just saying, you know, but I'm saying these MMA champions today would be messed up really bad by the ancient warriors of the ancient time. You don't even got a clue what I'm saying, so it's a waste of time me telling you and saying it now, because you ain't got a clue what I'm saying. Until you get more close to what I'm talking about and less off the ego, you will never understand what I'm saying. Thank you for watching, right? And again, to the people out there that are doing Wing Chun, don't keep talking about it. And you know, you don't need to worry about that gel in your hair and all that fucking attitude you're going around with every day, and how tight your jeans are up your ass crack and all this shit, okay? And how much fucking makeup you're putting on and you say you're a man. I'm just saying, right? And how you're trying to prove so and so better, and how you're going to give them some constructive criticism and I know you do that all day, every day, and I know you're going to go shopping in wherever the fuck it is, you know, the other day, and you've got some designer, wherever the fuck. I know you worry about that, I know, yeah, and so-and-so's, you know, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to prove, you know, and you know, You're talking to your parents like shit and all that. I don't give a fuck. I'm saying there's people out there in this day, right? If you really are though doing Wing Chun or a martial art like that, a traditional art, right? Or if you're doing Tai Chi or something, ask yourself what the hell you're doing. And don't just start doing like boxing and stuff and saying, or MMA and talking about it like MMA is good as well and JKD. Because you have a fucking clue what you're talking about. It's all good if you like, but you know what I mean? But it's like, you're not, you ain't doing it, you ain't at the heart of that. The heart of that is not what you're doing now, probably. If you're not doing Wing Chun, if you're not doing something wholeheartedly, just quit the bullshit, yeah? And if all you're practicing is proving to others every day that you're good, and then wanting to be a fighter so you can beat people, then all you are is a waste of space, and that's not martial arts, okay? But true survival is deep as fuck. And if you're a poor man and you're in a hard life, then you will train harder. Okay, martial arts will teach you that. And if you are not in tune with nature and you are confused with illusions around you in society, and if you're not healthy, you've got to ask yourself why. Otherwise, you're going to die that pile of shit, that meaty, skinny, or big and muscly, or fat, or whatever you are. You're going to die at the end of your life, wherever you're at. Are you a product of this society? I don't care if you're speaking English now, or you're speaking a bit of your language, trying to show how cool you are, or proving to people how many languages you can speak. I don't give a fuck. I don't care where you studied. I don't care if you've been in a gang. I don't care if you've been in a war, in a ring fight. I don't care if you've been the fucking boss of some beauty salon, fucking this and that. I don't care if you're a man who does women's nails and fucking hairstyle beauty. I don't care who you're wearing the suit. I don't care if you've got 2 cars, a dog named Sally, a big house, and you smell like a flower. I don't give a fuck, okay? That's just Wushu Richard telling you, man. That's alright. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit if you got your own style out, your own form of fighting. I don't care if you've been in the ring. I don't care if you've got the championship belt, whatever the fuck it is, okay? Martial arts is not that. All you are is a watered down piss of society. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many friends you got. Okay? Martial arts is for people that have got nothing and they love life and they've got a smile on their face and they train with pure passion. They're just loving this feeling of being creative and trying to make friends and help people who are so they lack the self-control of themselves. So this video is not to offend anybody. I'm making this video, I'm talking to everybody now saying that we're all the same, we're human, you can love your life, you can change it around. It's not about fighting, martial arts is not about fighting others, yeah? But the true martial arts is talking about real discipline and real fighting. So if you are doing fight, if you are training, the stuff they're doing today, I'm telling you, is not developing you to believe. You don't believe me, nature will tell you. It's not developing you to what inspired the people who had nothing in the ancient days. You're coming up in a culture now where they've got fucking, you know what I mean? They've got the electric chairs, this and that. They've got strap-on, this or that. In another fucking, they're coming up with laws day in day out. Oh, offensive language. So and so was arrested for saying offensive language on Yahoo and all this, and then you got Justin Bieber's face and this and that. You know what I mean? You're not living in reality. You know what I'm saying? You're not living in reality. So you got to live in reality. Martial arts is not about you just wearing a gi, you're wearing a suit and you got belts and you're shouting ki and you're just part of a team or a group and you just trophies and championships, this and that, Olympics. Martial arts is not about telling people that you do JKD or a form of letters which looks cool, or you're affiliated to Bruce Lee, someone else. Martial arts is not about just doing a kata and not having a clue what it's about and not being able to fight either. Martial arts is not only about just proving that your boxing and your MMA is better than all that because you know more than everybody else and you're big and tougher, and that's reality in the streets, in the hoods and all this shit. It's not about that until you get knifed up and all that. I know, right? Martial arts is not about showing how powerful you are because of your tattoos or your guns or whatever the fuck you're carrying. Martial art is not about all that. Martial art is not about me talking now. Martial art is not about you listening now. True martial arts, fuck, it's like your heart beating there in your body. Your mum give birth to you in a hospital, or whether you was born as a baby. That took martial arts. Sometimes I go to the toilet and have a shit, and it's very painful. I have to push it out, get the shit out of me, and that's martial arts. You know, I have to focus my mind. You know what I'm on, okay? And that's real. And it's beyond the serious, it's beyond me rambling, it's beyond me just ha, it's just reality. So, you know, you're going to have to get closer, you're going to have to study more and search out for that treasure in the ocean. So it's basically like you're going to have to study for what knowledge is out there, believe you and me. Because we're in a day and age now is watered down piss. You don't talk about skill and toughness and compare discipline, ability, martial arts skill, and then a real fight, street fight, and then ring fight, and all that. It's not about that at all. Countries which have wars, countries which have money, you know, respect to Jock Fresco, who fucking talk about money being the absolute root of all evil. We need to change the system. You know, Jock Fresco is my absolute idol legend. I'm just going to say that this modern society, people talk about certain things being accepted or not, and what's offensive or not, legalising this, making that illegal, and you've got the death penalty here, this, that, there, and you know, people just being controlled by the media, people controlled by this fake ass shit, brainwashed, they have a fucking clue what they're talking about, and what so and so said. Oh, do you know what so and so said? You know, something like that. Just everything you see on the news and Yahoo is just an absolute fucking joke. You are so brainwashed, you ain't got a clue. Okay, that's what I will say to you. So until you realise that there's air in your lungs, until you realise that you are made up of blood, cells and this and that, and one day you're going to be dead, you're going to be history, and you know, if all you can think about every day is how much money you've got in the bank, blah blah, so I'm telling you now, there's no way out for you. You've got to free your mind. It's like Neo says to, Morpheus says to Neo in the Matrix, you've got to free your mind, let it all go, Neo, because you know, you've been living in a dream world. The world you've been living in is all full of illusions, you know, that's what it's about. So, if someone's grabbing onto you, and you're not physically strong enough, and you know some skill, it's not going to work, because you're not strong enough. If you don't have the skill, and you're just strong, you still can't move, right? So if someone's grabbing onto you, if someone's beating the fuck out of you, and you're getting hurt, if you're out of the way and the hit misses you, good, right? If you're not able to stand strong and you're getting thrown about or pulled in any direction, or you're in the distance range, there's a lot of things there you can learn about fighting and strategy, right? If you're getting slashed or stabbed with a knife or shot or punched in the head or hit with a baseball bat, or you're laying on the floor and people hitting you with crowbars, and you've got to think to ask, if you're in the middle of the street standing there singing songs and daydreaming and you get run over both ways by two cars, then you've got questions there. The forces are around you, there's subtle forces too, there's things around you that you can learn to be like a swinging door, to like avoid and go in your direction, but you're not learning. You're not learning stillness, and you're not learning the right movement. You're just going force against force the whole time. Your mind's breaking every time someone says something which everybody else finds offensive. You feel like you're offended, you feel like you need to prove something, you feel like, you know, there's people that want to prove somebody wrong and take them to court to make it look good for everybody else. You know, it's like, you don't have a clue. Your mind, people are like mentally sick, mentally ill people. They're products of society and culture. So this is what's fucking it up. So true martial arts, you know, a lot of the great legends of the true martial arts were actually born into that kind of, you know, from different cultures, fair enough, and they were around in those times, but I'm saying those people, back in the ancient days, were more pure, they were more close to it, you know what I mean? But these days you've got your iPhone, your iPad, your fucking dildo, your fucking whatever the fuck, you know, gun, yeah, up your arsehole. And you ain't got a clue what you're talking about. And they got watches and glasses and computer, this and that, you know what I mean? and they're talking about, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to stop this video, right? And I'm not just because I don't know what I'm talking about, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel so sorry that any amount of healthcare out there or psychology, whether they're trying to promote it, you've got to pay for this stuff these days. People, you know what I mean? And that's, fuck, you've got not a chance in hell. If humanity don't go back to its roots of being a human, you are fucked. That's what I'll say to you. Thank you for watching. Train on, stay safe. Yeah, martial arts, the people out there who practice true martial arts, respect to you, and remember to be honest and try to inspire others and teach others, and teach your children and your close friends and children, teach anything you can. But you can't teach people discipline, and this lesson has to be taught by themselves. They have to learn to an extent discipline from themselves. But in terms of like true arts and physical skills that rely, on different kinds of the internal training and stuff like that, internal and external, but the physical different training, the traditional arts, not the fucking looking good in the gym, muscle man, and drag you down to the ground, grapple. That's all crap, in my opinion, right? Thank you. Train on, stay safe. Keep it real for true martial arts. Thank you.